Welcome. This is Jim, Sawlogs Plastic Hubs, and welcome to Slop in the Shop. Just to give you a quick update what Slop in the Shop is, you other creators had different videos, this and that, or purchases, or all this kind of stuff, or mail calls, or whatever you want to call it. My case is Slop in the Shop. It's based on the way old southern families used to keep a pig. They throwed all their scraps in a bucket, called it pig slop. So you'll able to see anything in this video, from a project being worked on, to purchases, to just whatever I throw in it. It's sort of like a video blog. With that being said, enjoy. And back there is a couple of sockets from AutoZone, piece of aluminum, and a piece of it's actually a shoulder bolt that's out of stock. The aluminum come out of my junk pile. The shoulder bolt come out of my junk pile. That should come from that. And I went and picked up the two sockets. I'm going to make a speed handle, and I'm going to video pieces of it. Probably put the pieces of it in Slop in the Shops in the future, because this is actually going to be like for a gift, surprise gift. So with no more further ado, let's go for it. I'm focused. As you notice, this is one of my personal oil cups that I use, and you'll notice that's the style I've got a Spellmaster I use, but I just prefer these. Since I've gifted these out to several different YouTubers, and even Mr. Pete, I sent him a couple. He helped me out on a project. The one thing I'm going to mention about these oil cups is they're simple to make, and you don't have to have three. You can print them on 3D. Randy Richards has printed some real nice ones on 3D, but if you don't have a 3D printer and you just got a home shop like me, you can make these. This is fairly simple. If you want to make some of your own, I've made several videos on it, but I'll throw this in this particular little piece that's going in one of my clips. If you want one of these and you want some direction, either go back and look at my videos or email me, and I'll give you some, I can kind of tell you the description. This in here, this is one of the Melissa and Doug cups. These are their little better cups, actually. Made them out of some smaller ones too, and they work really well. So, there will be another video that by the time you've seen this, you probably will see it, called Beating a Dead Horse to Death, because I made some out of some other inexpensive eBay cups. So there are several ways to do it. You really have to have the cup in your hand when you start. This is my project for the morning, and I can't find a tool that I had. I don't know where I done with it in process of moving several times, so I have to put the splines in with a screwdriver, but we're going to fix this screen. You can tell it's tore out, so let me get started. I used to have a roller tool, and I can't remember where it's at to do this with. So if you don't have one of the little specialized roller tools, you could always just use a regular screwdriver like I am and just push it down in there. Splines, it's simple enough. That'll work just as well. And it's, that's basically what's holding it, is this rubber down in these splines. I went ahead and got new rubber, and because anything that's weathered and been out in the weather is kind of oldish, and it doesn't work as well. So you can take your thumb and kind of start it, and you just take your screwdriver and just, it's a little slower with the screwdriver. With the tool, you just it just rapids it right down in there. So, but I can't find my tool. Hey, let me keep digging at this. Another thing, I prefer to leave me some extra screen and trim it at the end, and that way I have a good tight fit. I ain't got to worry about pulling. Like I say, just because you don't have a little tool, which is fairly inexpensive. I think I actually got two of them. But somewhere along the way in my moves over the years, it's been a while since I've done one of these, and this just little job come up I'm not going to explain why. This is winter time, so you don't really need it. I just want it for the looks. So most of the time nowadays with air conditioning, we hardly ever open windows any stinking way. So there's a couple of clips. And one thing with using a screwdriver, you always got to be careful because you stick a hole in your screen. So if you're using a screwdriver like me, be very careful. So I'll be back with you. One thing about getting older, especially if you got a little bit of arthritis in your hands, little jobs like this, these little tedious jobs, really work on your fingers. And I was holding that screwdriver so tightly because I was holding it down on the shank to control it that it was beginning to make my fingers hurt. So I went and got a stubby. I knew I knew if I misplaced my tool, I would have got one, trust me. It's a lot easier to do this with the spline tool than what I'm doing, I'm telling you. But this is just to show you that you can put your screens in without a spline tool. And it works just as well, but it's just a little bit more time consuming. I'm not driving all the way back to Lincoln to get a spline tool. Notice very carefully, I'm using one piece. I started in this one corner, and I'm using one piece to completely do this screen. So that way that the screen, some people use 4 short pieces, cut them and put short pieces in. I find by using one piece like this, it tends to work a little bit better. So I hope this is something that can be helpful outside the shop. So sometimes we have to do, our homes need to be taken care of. You may actually have screens in your shop. And if you live in our part of the country, flies is always a problem, especially where you got any farming operations around you. I lived in Kings Mountain. My cousins run a pretty good sized dairy. Flies was really a bigger problem than here. With at Chris and I's home, it's not near as bad. All right. Sometimes, actually, I hate to admit this because I've had the tools. Sometimes the screwdriver's working out better than the actual tool. You can it really helps it pull up. We have a good tight screen, but these screens don't have to be this god-awful tight, but you want them secured. Once you get this spline in, it tends to tighten it up a little bit. Now I've got the spline completely in. So what I should be able to do is just take this knife here, trim just right along this spline, just like this. And remove the excess screen. And the corner's not. Okay. Sometimes that's why you want to kind of go back. There you go. And just like I say, just run it. Just lay it on top of the spline with the razor knife and just roll it. Just like that. Save you a few bucks. Hardware gets a good $10 or $15 for these, and you can do it yourself at home. The roller screen I bought would probably do I bought a small roll. Probably do half a house. I at least could do 3 or 4 screens for what it would cost me to have the local hardware to do. So there it is, all nice and neat for us. Welcome, and I'm glad you enjoyed Slop in the Shop. This is a copyrighted production of James Dedman, Sawlogs Plastic Hubs, for your enjoyment on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed Slop in the Shop today, and we will look forward to seeing you on the very next video.